what's good, Commanders fans? Just wanted to react to the team's official depth chart coming out, or the Week 1 depth chart before we play the Buccaneers. Just wanted to react to that. Talk about a little things that I saw that stood out for sure, and then I may just talk a little bit about what Todd Bowles said with the Commanders and Skins. I know some people got worked up about it. I didn't get too worked. I'm not too worked up about it or excited or whatever, but I know some people got worked up about it. But all right, let's break down this depth chart here real quick. I guess we'll go with the offense first to start off. I guess the biggest thing that stood out to me really starting off is Luke McCaffrey as a starter. Somewhat of a surprise, but I think after Terry, even with Noah Brown, I do think it's a wide receiver as a committee, kind of like a running back by committee. I think it's a receiver number 2 as a committee, or receiver by committee, and then you got the tight ends as your receiving options, and Eckler as a receiving option, and B-Rob caught a lot of footballs last year. B-Rob did a really good job catching the football last year. But some people are alluding to Luke McCaffrey being hidden, kind of like Terry was when he was hidden in the preseason. But the contrary to that is that Luke did play in the preseason. Luke had a couple of nice catches against the Jets too. Thought he had a good game against the Jets where he moved the chains a couple of times. But that somewhat is a surprise to me, because I think I'm surprised. I'm a little surprised Diambi's not listed as a starter, but to me, it's all good. I'm not getting too excited or too disappointed or anything like that. But I'm happy that we got Luke as the starter as a rookie. So we'll see how he breaks out. He's on the outside instead of being the big slot that a lot of people projected him to be. But Diambi, he's been working hard, man. 500 catches a day. You saw the workout that he just posted on Instagram. We know he posts on Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff all the time, so I don't want to be duped by it. But he's had a really good preseason. He's had good preseasons before, good training camps and all that. But we'll see what happens. And Noah Brown, he's projected to really be the number 2, but right now he's listed as a backup. So we'll let the games happen and let's see what happens. As Diambi and Jaden had a really, really good chemistry in the preseason too. So that's why it's a little surprising there too. But does Cliff have something up his sleeve where Luke will be featured as the number 2 guy, and he has a really good connection with Jaden? So we didn't see Jaden throw the ball to Luke in the preseason, but maybe it's something that they're holding back for opposing defenses, and it will be somewhat of a secret there with Luke McCaffrey. So we'll see what happens with that. Brandon Coleman being named the starter or being first string is a little bit of a surprise to me, or somewhat of a surprise, because he just hasn't played. He didn't play one preseason snap. He's been week to week with the injury. So does he start day 1 or Cornelius Lucas start day 1? And I still think there's a possibility Cornelius Lucas may just start because Brandon Coleman hasn't played. But I am pretty high on Brandon Coleman. I'm pretty optimistic that he will be ready for week 1. And but if he doesn't start, it's not the end of the world if he doesn't start week 1. He just hasn't had the reps, but baptism by fire is definitely the best thing for a rookie, just to get out there and play for the left tackle, Brandon Coleman. Terry, of course, started Noah Brown right behind him. I think Noah Brown eventually will be the second featured. I'm not just going to call him wide receiver number 2, but I'll just say the second featured wide receiver on the team. We'll see. Alameda starting in the slot. Alameda had a really good camp, had a good preseason, played really well, played hard with every rep that he had. Had a good punt return against the Jets. He was willing to return punts when there was reports saying that not a lot of people were enthused, or not everybody was enthused to return punts. Alameda, when we signed him, I wasn't, like saying, oh, he'll be wide receiver number 2 or 3 or anything like that. For the most part of his career, he's been kind of 3 or 4 wide receiver kind of guy, but he had a really good season with the Falcons one year. Didn't really get featured much with the Eagles. He was the option number 4 or 5 over there, but over here he's playing hard on every rep. And he might have a bounce back season like he did with the Falcons when he played really well against us with Mariota, where we barely won that game with the interception by Kendall Fuller and Daron Payne with the left hand up. So your starting 3 on the depth chart is Alameda, Luke, and of course Terry McLaurin. Noah Brown being a backup, Diambi being a backup. But I think Diambi's going to play a lot. He's earned the right to play, but he's just got to show up and produce, man. He's got to show up and produce. And the only thing we've seen from him consistently in his career is that one game against the Titans where he had 2 touchdowns. Other than that, his career high in catches is 12 catches. So I'm rooting for Diambi, man. I really am. I really want to see him break out. Jameson Crowder behind Alameda. He's going to be a starting punt returner. And then Byron Pringle is the 3rd string guy behind Noah Brown. Of course, you got left guard Nick Allegretti, center Tyler Biadasz as your starter, Sam Cosmi as your right guard starter, Andrew Wiley at right tackle. Those are the ones that we already knew. Brandon Coleman, I'm a little surprised on that, but it's good to see a rookie starting. Cornelius Lucas right behind him at left tackle. Chris Paul at left guard. Michael Dieter at center. Chris Paul listed again as the backup right guard. And then Trent Scott is the backup right tackle. Tight end, Zach Ertz is your starter. John Bates, second string. Ben Sinnott, third string. Ben Sinnott is going to play a lot, though. Even though he's listed as third string, he's going to play a lot. He's going to get a lot of snaps. Colson Yankov is your fourth string tight end. They did bring in the linebacker, Nick Bellore. They signed him to the practice squad. So I think, in a corresponding move, I think on game days, they're going to put Colson on the practice squad or inactive, and then they're going to put Nick Bellore to replace him as a special teams ace. Because Colson Yankov was basically a special teams ace in the preseason, and Bellore, I don't think they're going to use him as a fullback much, but I do like him in red zone situations. I think you can catch teams off guard using Bellore as a fullback in there as a receiving option. I really do, because he caught a touchdown before in his career. Jaden Daniels, of course, as the starter. Marcus Mariota, number 18, which is kind of ugly for a quarterback. Actually, no, I'm not going to say ugly. Peyton Manning was number 18, so he made that number look good. And I'm not really big on numbers anyway. 16, Jeff Driscoll, third string quarterback. B-Rob is your starting running back. Austin Eckler as your backup. And then Jerry McNichols wearing number 26 as the third string back. So that's what stood out to me. Brandon Coleman starting. Luke starting. Jaden starting. That's the obvious one. So you got 3 rookie starters out there on offense. So good to see that. A couple of your draft picks looking ready to go and get started. All right, so defense. We'll move to the defensive side of the football. Cleveland Farrell, penciled in starter. We knew that was going to happen. Jamin Davis is your backup defensive end. I think Jamin Davis is going to get a lot of snaps. I think he's going to be used as a rotational pass rusher. We'll see who's going to be in on third down. Will it be Jamin, or will it be Cleveland, or will they mix it up and put Dante Fowler in there on third down as a pass rusher? We'll see what Dan Quinn and Joe Jr. decide to do. Deron Payne and John Allen, of course, your starters in the interior. Dorrance Armstrong, defensive end, who's had a good amount of sacks the last 2 seasons. He will be starting instead of being a rotational guy like he was in Dallas. So we'll see how he does in that role. Fedarian Mathis backing up Deron Payne. Good to see Fedarian Mathis make the team. A Ron Rivera pick surviving and making a roster. Johnny Jerzon Newton back up to John Allen. So that shows that he should be playing this week, which is good news. He's on the depth chart. Javonte John Baptiste right behind Dorrance Armstrong, defensive end. Dante Fowler listed as an outside linebacker, but we know who he's going to be mainly used to rush the passer. Dominique Hampton, the rookie, back up to Dante Fowler and back up listed as an outside linebacker, back up to Frankie Louvu. So he's gonna get a good amount of snaps too, I feel like, as well. I know Frankie Louvu and Bobby are gonna play a lot, but I think Dominique Hampton he's gonna get in the game other than just special teams. And Michael Walker listed as your backup middle linebacker behind Bobby Wagner. Mikey Sanders still starting slot corner. So we got 3 corners on the depth chart as starting. Good to see Mikey out there. So 4 rookies starting on the roster. Ben St. Juste, outside corner, starting at Emmanuel Forbes. Emmanuel Forbes was the backup in the other depth chart behind Michael Davis. So he starts over Michael Davis. I remember in the beginning of OTAs and minicamp, everyone was like, oh, is Emmanuel Forbes going to start? So it's good to see Emmanuel Forbes did win that job. Can he keep the job? This is a huge test for him this weekend. He gets no breaks. Whether it's Mike Evans, whether it's Chris Godwin, either one of those guys are top 20. Mike Evans is a top 10 receiver in this league for sure. And then Chris Godwin is definitely a top 20, top 25 receiver, I would say. He's had 3 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons. So, and this weekend, honestly, I do see them having good games. I know it's going to rain, but this is a big, big test for Emmanuel Forbes. Same thing for Ben St. Juste. All these guys, all our corners. Mike Davis, if he gets out there too, which he should, this is a huge test. And Baker Mayfield, people want to call him mid or whatever, but he got the football to those guys last year. He got the ball to Baker Mayfield. He got the ball to Mike Evans a lot, and he got the ball to Chris Godwin a lot too. Trey Palmer's no slouch too as a wide receiver, number 3 option. So they got some weapons. Rashad White is a good running back receiver out there too. So Emmanuel Forbes will be tested. We'll see how Joe Witt Jr. uses him in the red zone against Mike Evans. Like, does he match up on Mike Evans? Like, who does he match up on Mike Evans? That's what I'm intrigued to see out there this weekend. Noah I back up to Mikey Sanders still in the slot. Wearing number 1, Michael Davis, the backup to Ben St. Juste and Emmanuel Forbes. Jeremy Chin wearing number 11, starting a strong safety. We already knew that was going to happen. And Quan Martin starting a free safety. We already knew that it was going to happen as well. Derek Forrest, the backup to Jeremy Chin. A lot of people thought he was going to get released, but he made it. So he's the backup to Jeremy Chin. And then Jeremy Reeves, backup free safety to Quan Martin. Special teams all-pro, Jeremy Reeves. And then Tyler Owens, the third string guy behind Derek Forrest, a strong safety, and Percy Butler, third string behind Quan Martin and Jeremy Reeves for free safety. Punter, of course, stretched away. Cade York starting kicker. I'm intrigued to see how Cade York does this week because he was not tested in the preseason. He's been pretty inconsistent in his career so far. He did lose to Dustin Hopkins in the battle, but he did make all his kicks the other day when we remember Riley Patterson was missing 39-yard kicks in preseason. Tyler Ott starting left long snapper. Byron Pringle as their starting kick returner. Olamide Zacchaeus also starting kick returner, and then he's behind James Crowder. James Crowder will be your starting punt returner. So, like I said, big thing that's really stood out to me is Luke McCaffrey as a starter. But like I said, it's going to be wide receiver by committee out there. And Brandon Coleman as a starting left tackle. Does he start day one without playing in the preseason? And then Mikey Sanders still starting as a rookie. That's not a surprise at all. And then Emmanuel Forbes starting at corner. So, I mean, Joe Wood Jr. and Dan Quinn, they liked him in the draft. Dallas said that they liked him in the draft. So, he's played pretty well. Other than the Jets game, giving up that touchdown against a third-string wide receiver and against a backup quarterback, he had a solid preseason. He played pretty well in the Dolphins joint practice from what we heard. So, he ended on a high note. Can he keep it up? He struggled against Sauce Gardner, though. He struggled against Garrett Wilson in that joint practice against the Jets. So, it was kind of up and down for training camp for him. They did put out a clip of him getting interception against De'Ami Brown in practice, but we got to see what this guy does. We got to see what this guy does in the regular season. So, can this be a bounce back season for Emmanuel Forbes? We know with Joe Wood Jr. and Dan Quinn. I know Al Harris is a part of that. I know a couple people are going to come in and comment and say, "Oh, Al Harris was the main guy," but Dan Quinn and Joe Wood Jr. definitely had a part of Deron Bland improving. They definitely had a part of Trayvon Diggs improving as well. Can they translate that to Emmanuel Forbes and get the best out of Emmanuel Forbes? So that's the big question mark this year. All right, so that's it for the official depth chart for week one. I guess we'll talk about Todd Bowles real quick. He did say some good things about Jaden Daniels. He said, quote, anytime you face a dual threat quarterback, it's going to be a problem. He can beat you with his legs or his arm. He was taking that high for a reason. He's very accurate, very calm in the pocket, and has a good mastery of the offense from what we've seen. It's going to be tough trying to keep him in the pocket and trying to cover those guys. So Todd Bowles is 10-4 against rookie quarterbacks, or 10-5. So he's done a good job against rookie quarterbacks, but he has struggled against the pass. The Buccaneers struggled against the pass last year, as they have the last couple of years. So I do think Jaden can throw the ball against this defense. It's going to be tough with a lot of blitzes, and Todd Bowles definitely is a creative defensive mind. So I think Jaden's going to be fine. He's got to get the ball out quick, use his legs, put some pressure on that Tampa Bay defense for sure. And I think Jaden Daniels would be fine. But Todd Bowles has a lot of respect for Jaden Daniels. He saw the up-tempo offense that we had going, and him getting the ball out quickly and being a quick decision maker, and the nice touch pass that he made to De'Ami Brown where he changed the play at the line. So Todd Bowles definitely has a lot of respect for Jaden Daniels already. And this is what you're supposed to say in press conference. You're supposed to show respect for the opponent for sure. But he did say skins twice. He did say Redskins twice. A lot of people were worked up about it. I think he said it on purpose, because he said it twice. Like, a lot of people slip up and say Redskins once. But Todd Bowles, we know he played for the Skins as well, so he has a lot of rich history with the Skins. So I felt like he did say it on purpose. But like I said, I'm not getting too worked up about it or excited, like a lot of people are, because the name's not going to come back. Josh Harris basically said that as well. So, but all right, you guys let me know what you guys think about the depth chart as well. I will be making a preview video for sure. Probably Friday, like I always do. I'll be making a preview video. I think they will be coming up with the captains for week one, so I'll probably react to that video as well. You guys let me know what you guys think. As always, Held Commanders, peace.